Hey guys, welcome back to Holistic Homesteading with the Hursts. I'm Megan, and today I'm going to show you how to easily sew this Bohemian headband that I am wearing right now and make one for yourself or make one as a gift for the upcoming holidays. Let's get started. So here are the supplies you will need. First, you will need a knit fabric. So this is a fabric that gives a little bit of stretch. You'll also need some thread, and I like to choose a thread that is very similar in color to my fabric so that it doesn't show up, because there's a little piece at the end that you'll need to have some correct fabric. And then you'll also need to use a knit needle that will go into your sewing machine. As well as some pins. Fabric scissors. You will need a measuring tape. This is a fabric measuring tape for me. A sewing machine. I don't have anything fancy, just a regular Singer sewing machine. And I have my tension set on 2, and it's a straight stitch, so not a super tight stitch but not super loose as well. So the first thing you're going to do is lay out your fabric. I laid mine with the pattern side up, and I measure out 9 inches by 20 inches. Now what I like to do is fold over my fabric, so I'll measure out 9 inches wide and then fold over my fabric in half so that I can just make a straight cut along the edge piece. You don't have to do this, you can just cut out a 9 by 20 inch rectangle. That is completely fine too, but I found that working with knit fabric, it's a little hard to make a straight line when it's cutting time, so if I could just follow the edge piece, it seems to work best for me. So here I am just lining up and making sure that my fabric isn't too far over. Just wanted to make sure it was on that halfway point. And you'll see little hands in here because I am trying to sew with my 1-year-old. This is mom life. And then I'm measuring here at 20 inches. So this is going to be the length that goes around your head, and then the 9 inches will be folded over, and that will be the width of your headband. You're welcome to make it thinner or thicker if you want. With a knit fabric, it didn't really seem to need any extra length for anybody. If you were making this for a child, you would probably want to go at 18 inches on the length. But for an adult, I would stick with 20 inches. Okay, so once you get that piece cut out, you are going to pin together your outside edges. So not along the fold, it's going to be the 2 pieces that are the raw edges. And then we're going to sew this with a 1/2 inch seam. So that basically means that once you put it under your sewing machine, the needle is going to be a 1/2 inch in from the outside edge. Be sure to backstitch at the beginning and at the end when you are doing this, because that will keep your seams from pulling apart. Once that is finished, you are going to take your fabric and turn it right side out. Now here is a little bit of a tricky part. You're going to lay your fabric out flat, and then you're going to twist it in the middle. Now you can do a double twist if you want it to be like a full-on twist. Like, I don't really know how to explain it, but I like just twisting it once. You're going to fold the ends over to match, and then you're going to take those two inner layers and pin them together, being sure to keep the outside layers apart. And we are going to sew this again with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. This is how you are connecting your headband and making sure that that twist stays in there. Alright, now we are going to sew this, and you want to be sure that you keep the outer layers away so that you're not accidentally sewing them into this. But you are going to, again, use a 1/2 inch seam allowance and sew as straight as possible. And then as you get to the end, you are going to take the bottom layer and the top layer and stretch them out down towards the bottom and continue to sew. And you can see how I am just pulling that out. Now you don't have to pin this part because you're kind of working as you go and stretching as you go. But just make sure that you're not getting your fabric bunched up under each other. And then once you have about 1 inch of fabric left, you are going to stop sewing, and you're going to take it out, clear off any of the threads, and then you're going to fold those in just as if it was sewn. And we're going to top stitch that with an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So this is just trying to close up that gap. And you'll see, you can barely see that thread, and that is why you want to use a very similar color thread to your fabric. Now here is a tip for how to wear your Bohemian headband. You're going to stretch out the bottom, so that's where your seam is. You're going to make sure it's flat because that's going to make sure that your twist is in the front. So as you flatten that out, you'll see the twist, and then you're going to pull it back over your hair. And you can wear your hair up or down, or pigtails, or a messy bun, however you see fit. I hope this was a simple, easy tutorial for you. I will be posting links in the description box below for the blog post as well as for the supplies so that you can make this your own if you don't have some of the supplies. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit subscribe if you are new here. I do videos every week on homesteading, homemaking, and holistic living. So we would love to keep you around. See you in the next one. Bye.